called himself the Son of Man in the New Testament. It's because this is another name for Israelites. That's it. Alright, so again it said the word of the Lord came to Ezekiel. The word of the Lord, again, over and over. Go back to John, I think it's 6. One second, let me get it. John 5:46. John 5:46.
The book of John, chapter 5, verse 46. For had ye believed Moses, ye would have believed me.
So he said, if you would have believed Moses, this is red letter talk here. He said, if you would have believed Moses, you would have believed him. Why?
For he wrote of me.
Because he wrote of him. Moses got everything from him. So that's why I said, if you would believe Moses, you would believe me, because it's the same writing. He's telling him the same thing. Go ahead.
But if you believe not his writings, how shall you believe my words?
How can you not believe Moses' writings, which is the word of God, and say you believe the New Testament, which is the word of God? It's coming from the same person. If it's coming from the same person, you have to believe both. You can't believe one and not the other. Read it again from the top.
The book of John, chapter 5, verse 46. For had ye believed Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote of me.
Had you believed Moses, you would have believed me. Give me Joshua 8:27.
Joshua chapter 8, verse 27. Only the cattle and the spoil of that city Israel took for a prey unto themselves, according unto the word of the Lord, which he commanded Joshua.
The word of the Lord which he commanded Joshua. So yes, Joshua after Moses was dealing with Christ. The word of the Lord. Okay? Read it one more time.
Joshua chapter 8, verse 27. Only the cattle and the spoil of that city Israel took for a prey unto themselves, according unto the word of the Lord, which he commanded Joshua.
According to the word of the Lord. Give me Baruch 3:37.
Baruch chapter 3, verse 37. Afterward did he shew himself.
36.
36.
Yeah.
He had found out all the way of knowledge, and had given it unto Jacob, his servant.
Unto Jacob, his servant. Who is this talking about? It's talking about Christ. Who is his servant? It's Jacob. Okay, the order. Remember. Go ahead.
And to Israel, his beloved. Afterward did he show himself upon earth.
Afterward what?
Did he show himself upon earth?
Afterward did he show himself upon earth. Remember, no man seen the Father. Go ahead.
And conversed with men.
And did what?
Conversed with men.
The Bible says after he gave us the knowledge, he showed himself on earth and conversed with men. This cannot be the Father because no man has seen the Father. How did you show yourself on earth and converse with men and nobody saw you? That's not what that's talking about. Showing means somebody has to see you. Okay? The Lord is the one that made the heaven and the earth, and he's the one that came down and showed himself and conversed with men. All right, one more time from the top, verse 36.
Baruch chapter 3, verse 36. And he had found out all the way of knowledge, and had given it unto Jacob, his servant, and to Israel, his beloved. Afterward did he shew himself upon earth, and conversed with men.
Afterward did he show himself upon earth and conversed with men. You can't mess that up. That's right there in your face. Give me Isaiah 54 verse 5 and Mark 2 and 19. Isaiah 54 and 5, Mark 2 and 19.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 54, verse 5. For thy maker is thine husband.
Say what?
For thy maker is thy
He
husband.
said, thy maker, the one that made us, is our husband. Go ahead.
The Lord of hosts is his name.
The Lord of hosts is his name. There's another name. The Lord of hosts is his name. Go ahead.
And thy redeemer.
Thy redeemer. Who's the redeemer? We know Christ in the New Testament. He calls himself the redeemer of Israel. Okay, go ahead.
And thy redeemer, the Holy One of Israel.
The Holy One of Israel. Okay, another script that he calls himself in the New Testament, the Holy One of Israel. Okay, give me Mark 2:19.
Mark chapter 2, verse 19. And Jesus said unto them, can the children of the bride chamber fast while the bridegroom is with them?
So the Pharisees was asking Christ, why does his disciples not fast? His answer was, can the children of the bride chamber fast while the bridegroom is with them? The husband is with them. Why would we be fasting? Go ahead.
As long as they have the bridegroom with them, they cannot fast.
So he's letting you know clearly, look, I'm with them right now. Why would they be fasting? Why? Because he is the bridegroom, like I said, Isaiah 54, one more time, verse 5.
The book of Isaiah chapter 54 verse 5. For thy maker is thine husband.
For thy maker is thy husband. Now we know that the bridegroom is talking about Yahushua, it's talking about Christ. Thy maker is thy husband. We know Israel is the bride of Christ. Okay, he's telling you that same person that you're the bride of is your maker. He was the one that made us. The Holy One of Israel, the Redeemer of Israel. Okay, so again, it's linking it up, showing you that this is the same person in the Old Testament as it was in the New Testament that we will call him Lord and God. All right, read Matthew one more time. What was it, Matthew? Mark, yeah.
It's Mark chapter 2, verse 19. And Jesus said unto them, can the children of the bridegroom fast, bride chamber fast, while the bridegroom is with them? As long as they have the bridegroom with them, they cannot fast.
As long as they have the bridegroom with them, they cannot fast. For thy maker is thy husband. Read that one more time.
The book of Isaiah chapter 54 verse 5. For thy maker is thy husband, the Lord of hosts is his name, and the Redeemer of the Holy One of Israel, the God of the whole earth shall he be called.
Give me Jeremiah 3 and 14.
Jeremiah chapter 3, verse 14. Turn, O backsliding children, saith the Lord, for I am married unto you, and I will take you one of a city and two of a family, and I will bring you to Zion.
Bring you to Zion, which is Judah. But he said at the beginning, turn, O backsliding children, for I am married unto thee. Okay, this is letting you know that this is the same person in the New Testament that called himself the bridegroom. Okay, the father of Israel is Yahushua or Christ. Okay, not the actual father, that's his father. Give me Revelation 1 and 6 on that.
Revelation chapter 1, verse 6. And hath made us kings and priests unto God and his Father.
Read it one more time.
And hath made us kings and priests unto God and his Father.
And have made us kings and priests unto God and his Father. Read 1 and 1.
Revelation chapter 1, verse 1. The revelation of Jesus Christ.
The revelation, everybody knows, is talking about the revealing. In the 6th verse of the revealing, it tells you that he is God and he has a father. Okay, this is the 6th verse. Read the 6th verse one more time.
And hath made us kings and priests unto God and his Father. To him be glory and dominion forever and ever. Amen.
To him be glory and dominion forever and ever. All right. Give me the book of Matthew chapter 15 verse 8 and Isaiah 29 verse 13. Read Isaiah first, please.
Isaiah 8. You wanted 8?
29 and 13.
29 and 13.
Isaiah chapter 29, verse 13. Wherefore the Lord said, for as much as this people draw near me with their mouth.
So this is what the Lord said, what Christ said in the Old Testament. Go ahead.
And with their lips do honor me.
They draw near to him with their mouth, and with their lips they do honor him. Go ahead.
But have removed their heart far from me. And their fear toward me is taught by the precept of men.
So this is what he said in the Old Testament. Their fear towards me is taught by the precept of men. Okay? The fear towards him. Give me Matthew 15 and 8. Hold that Isaiah though, because we're going to come right back to that one.
Book of Matthew chapter 15, verse 8. This people draweth nigh unto me with their mouth, and honoreth me with their lips.
Now he's saying me, as he said me in the Old Testament, he's saying me in the New Testament. These people draw nigh unto me. He's saying the exact same thing that he said in the Old Testament, and saying how this is fulfilled. Why? Because it's him that is talking about. These people draw nigh unto me with their mouth, and with their lips do honor me. Read again from the top.
Matthew chapter 15, verse 8. This people draweth nigh unto me with their mouth, and honoreth me with their lips. But their heart is far from me.
The heart is far from him. Notice he's saying me the same way he said me in the Old Testament. Go ahead.
But in vain do they worship me.
In vain do they worship him. Go ahead.
Teaching for doctrines the commandments of men.
Teaching for doctrines the commandments of men. Now go back to Isaiah 29:13 again.
Isaiah chapter 29, verse 13. Wherefore the Lord said, for as much as this people draw near me with their mouth, and their lips do honor me, but have removed their heart far from me, and their fear towards me is taught by the precept of men.
Now if this was the Father speaking in the New Testament, Christ would have said their fear towards him is taught. But he said their fear towards me. Why? Because it's the same person talking. Alright? That's another easy way that you can tell this is the same person we're dealing with. Give me Isaiah 1 and 9 and Romans 9 and 29. Isaiah 1 and 9, Romans 9 and 29. And before y'all do those two, Isaiah 54 and 5 one more time. Isaiah 54 and 5, and then Isaiah 1 and 9, Romans 9, 29.
Isaiah chapter 54, verse 5. For thy maker is thine husband. The Lord of hosts is his name.
The Lord of hosts is his name. So again, we have to revisit this part so we can see the Lord of hosts is his name. Okay? Give me Isaiah 1 and 9, please.
The book of Isaiah chapter 1, verse 9. Except the Lord of hosts has left unto us a very small remnant.
Except who?
Except the Lord of hosts had left unto us a very small remnant. We shall have been a Sodom, and we should have been like unto Gomorrah.
So here he's calling himself the Lord of hosts again. Okay, now why is that important? Because it's going to reveal to you another name that he has. Romans 9 and 29. Read that one more time so we can make sure we hear it direct.
The book of Isaiah chapter 1 verse 9. Except the Lord of hosts has left unto us a very small remnant. We should have been as Sodom, and we should have been like unto Gomorrah.
Okay, go ahead. Romans 9:29.
Romans chapter 9. Chapter 9?
9 and 29.
9 and 29. Romans chapter 9, verse 29. And as Isaiah said before, except the Lord of Sabbath, and left us a seed, we had been as Sodom and been made like unto Gomorrah.
So in Isaiah 1 and 9, it calls him the Lord of hosts. And then he quotes directly from Isaiah 1 and 9, but he calls him the Lord of the Sabbath. So that's revealing to you another name. But this is the exact same quote and saying the same thing, but he's revealing to you that, yes, it's another name. Why is that important? We're going to get another scripture that points out that name. Get Mark 2 and 28. Read that one more time.
Romans chapter 9, verse 29. And as Isaiah said before, except the Lord of Sabbath had left us a seed, we had been as Sodom and been made like unto Gomorrah.
So now get Mark 2 and 28.
The book of Mark, chapter 2, verse 28. Therefore the Son of Man is Lord also of the Sabbath.
So he said, therefore the Son of Man, which is talking about Christ, is the Lord of the Sabbath. Again, he's telling you this is the same person as before. They're calling the Lord of hosts and the Lord of the Sabbath the same person. Okay, it's just telling you over and over again that this was the God in the Old Testament. This was the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in the Old Testament. Read one more time.
The book of Mark, chapter 2, verse 28. Therefore the Son of Man is Lord also of the Sabbath.
Therefore the Son of Man, Christ, is Lord also of the Sabbath. All right, give me Matthew 22 and 41.
Matthew chapter 22, verse 41. While the Pharisees were gathered together, Jesus asked them, saying, What think ye of Christ? Whose son is he? They say unto him, The son of David. He saith unto them, How then doth David in spirit call him Lord, saying, The Lord said unto my Lord, Sit thou on my right hand till I make thine enemies thy footstool.
Now again, we went through that in Psalms 110 and 1. So it's telling you again, how could he be the son of David, which he is through the lineage, but he's not the actual son. Why? Because he's his Lord. So it's impossible to be his son and his Lord at the same time. But when he came in the flesh, when the word was made flesh, he came through that lineage which made him part of his sons. Okay, read it one more time from the top.
Matthew chapter 22, verse 41. While the Pharisees were gathered together, Jesus asked them, saying, What think ye of Christ? Whose son is he? They saying unto him, The son of David. He saith unto them, How then doth David in spirit call him Lord, saying, The Lord said unto my Lord, Sit thou on my right hand till I make thine enemies thy footstool.
So he's letting you know, again, the same thing in Psalms 110 and verse 1. Give me John 8 and 56. John 8 verse 56. Very important to understand that Christ was the one who was dealing with the entire time.
John 8, verse 56. Your father Abraham rejoiced to see my day, and he saw it, and was glad. Then said the Jews unto him, Thou art not yet 50 years old, and hast thou seen Abraham? Jesus said unto them, Verily, verily, I say unto you, before Abraham was I am.
Before Abraham was, I am. Meaning I existed and I still exist. Clear from the top?
John chapter 8, verse 56. Your father Abraham rejoiced to see my day, and he saw it and was glad. Then said the Jews unto him, Thou art not yet 50 years old, and hast thou seen Abraham? Jesus said unto them, Verily, verily, I say unto you, before Abraham was I am.
Before Abraham was, I am. All right, give me Hosea chapter 2, verse 19.
Hosea chapter 2.
Hosea chapter 2, verse 19. And I will betroth thee unto me forever.
The Lord said what?
And I will betroth thee unto me forever.
The Lord said he was going to betroth us unto him forever. Who is this speaking to? Who is this speaking from? It's talking about Christ. He's the one that betrothed us to him forever. Okay? He is the bridegroom forever. One more time.
Hosea chapter 2, verse 19. And I will betroth thee unto me forever.
Forever. Let's get another one. Get Malachi 3 verse 1. And Malachi 3 and 1 and Luke 7 and 27. Malachi 3 and 1, Luke 7 and 27.
Malachi chapter 3, verse 1. Behold, I will send my messenger, and he shall prepare the way before me.
So the Lord, this is Christ again, as it is in the entire Old Testament. He said what? Read it again.
Malachi chapter 3, verse 1. Behold, I will send my messenger, and he shall prepare the way before me, and the Lord whom ye seek shall suddenly come to his temple.
He said, the Lord whom ye seek shall suddenly come to his temple. The Lord who you're praying to shall suddenly come to his temple. If no man has seen the Father, then who is this that's coming to the temple? It's the one that's the Lord in the entire Old Testament. Okay, the one that they hung on the cross. All right, read it one more time.
Malachi chapter 3, verse 1. Behold, I will send my messenger, and he shall prepare the way before me.
Stop. So he said, I will send my messenger, and he will prepare the way before me. Give me Luke 7 and 27.
The book of Luke, chapter 7, verse 27. This is he of whom it is written, Behold, I send my messenger before thy face.
So this is red letters again. This is Christ speaking. He said, this is he of whom it is written. Speaking of John the Baptist, if you read up a little bit, but we try to save some time. Go ahead, read one more time.
Behold, I send my messenger before thy face, which shall prepare thy way before thee.
And why was he before him? Because he was 6 months older than Christ. Go ahead.
For I say unto you, among those that are born of woman, there is not a greater prophet than John the Baptist.
So go back to the top of that. Verse 27.
This is he of whom it is written, Behold, I send my messenger before thy face, which shall prepare thy way before thee.
Now go back to Malachi 3 and 1. Now we know who the messenger is. The messenger is John the Baptist. So John the Baptist came first and then Christ came. So now we can go back and see what it's talking about, Malachi 3 and 1. Go ahead.
Behold, I will send my messenger, and he shall prepare the way before me. And the Lord whom ye seek,
the Lord whom ye seek, the one you praying to, go ahead,
shall suddenly come to his temple.
Shall suddenly come to his temple. That's what happened when the Word was made flesh. That's what happened when he came and dwelt among us. That's what happened in Baruch, where it says, was that 3 and 36, afterward did he show himself on earth and converse with men. Okay, it's telling you the same thing over and over. But we have to keep in our mind and remember that no man has seen the Father. That will keep things in perspective to understanding that this had to be Christ the entire time, especially when you understand the order and remember the order that is telling you that Christ is over us before we get to the Father. So this, again, he's been there since the beginning. All right, one more time.
Malachi chapter 3, verse 1. Behold, I will send my messenger, and he shall prepare the way before me, and the Lord whom ye seek shall suddenly come to his temple.
And the Lord whom ye seek shall suddenly come to his temple. Go ahead.
Even the messenger of the covenant.
Even the messenger of the covenant. Who is the messenger of the covenant? It's Christ. He is the messenger between us and the Father. Go ahead.
Whom ye delight in, behold, he shall come.
Behold, he shall come. And what happened? He came. It was the same one that was from the Old Testament. All right? Give me 1 second. All right, get Zachariah 12 and 10.
Zechariah chapter 12, verse 10. And I will pour upon the house of David and upon the inhabitants of Jerusalem the spirit of grace and of supplications. And they shall look upon me, whom they have pierced.
They shall what?
Look upon me, whom they have pierced.
Whom they have pierced. He's telling you they shall look upon me, whom they have pierced. Who was the one that pierced them? It was the Romans that pierced him in the New Testament when he came in the flesh. He said, they shall look upon me whom they have pierced. Okay? Read again from the top.
Zechariah chapter 12, verse 10. And I will pour upon the house of David and upon the inhabitants of Jerusalem the spirit of grace and of supplications. And they shall look upon me, whom they have pierced, and they shall mourn for him, as one mourneth for his only son.
And that's how we was mourning for the Lord when the Lord was put to death. Go ahead.
And shall be in bitterness for him, as one that is in bitterness for his firstborn.
Right, so give me Genesis. No, matter of fact, Hebrews 10 and 7, and Psalms 40 and 7. Hebrews 10 and 7, Psalms 40 and 7. Hebrews 10 and 7, Psalms 40 and 7.
The book of Hebrews, chapter 10, verse 7. Then said I, lo, I come in the volume of the book.
So this is Hebrews, right?
Hebrews, chapter 10, verse 7.
Go ahead.
Then said I, lo, I come in the volume of the book. It is written of me.
It is written of him. Go ahead.
To do thy will, O God,
above
when he said, sacrifice and offering and burnt offerings and offering for sin, thou wouldest not, neither hadst pleasure therein which are offered by the law.
Alright, so go back to the one in Psalms 40 and 7.
The book of Psalms, chapter 40, verse 7. Then said I, lo, I come in the volume of the book, it is written of me.
So again, it's the same person. In Psalms 40, he said, come in the volume of the book, it is written of him. Hebrews 10, he says the same thing. He come in the volume of the book. It is written of him. This is the exact same person over and over. Okay, it's too many scriptures to ignore that is continuously telling you the same thing. Let's see. Give me 1 Timothy 3 and 16.
1 Timothy chapter 3, verse 16. And without controversy, great is the mystery of godliness.
Alright, so this is a mystery. Without controversy, great is the mystery of godliness. Go ahead.
God was manifest in the flesh.
God was manifest in the flesh. Who is that God? It's talking about Christ, which it tells you in Revelation 1 and 6 we just went to. Go ahead.
Justified in the spirit, seen of angels, preached unto Gentiles, believed on in the world, received up into glory.
So we know who that's talking about. He was the one that was received up into glory. But here it also calls him God again. Okay, give me 1 John 2, 24. 1 John 2 and 24.
1 John chapter 2, verse 24. Let that therefore abide in you, which ye have heard from the beginning.
From the beginning, the same laws that you heard from the beginning, the Lord said, let that abide in you. Why? Because he was the same one giving you the laws in the beginning. That's why he said, think not that I am come to destroy the law. Because he was the one that gave it in the first place. Go ahead.
If that which ye have heard from the beginning shall remain in you, ye also shall continue in the Son and in the Father.
Ye also shall continue in the Son and in the Father. Give me Matthew 1 and 23.
Book of Matthew, chapter 1, verse 23. Behold, a virgin shall be with child, and shall bring forth a son, and they shall call his name Emmanuel, which being interpreted is God with us.
Which being interpreted is God with us. Okay, another one of his name was Emmanuel, which being interpreted means God with us, or Yahweh with us. The God of the Old Testament with us. Okay, again, it's telling you the same thing as all these other scriptures have been telling you. This is the same God from the Old Testament that we're calling Lord in the New Testament. Why? Because the order has always been set. It has never changed. Okay, one more time.
The book of Matthew, chapter 1, verse 23. Behold, a virgin shall be with child, and shall bring forth a son, and they shall call his name Emmanuel, which being interpreted is God with us.
Which being interpreted is God with us. Okay? Over and over. Get 1 John 1 and 1. 1 John 1 verse 1.
1 John chapter 1 verse 1. That which was from the beginning, which we have heard, which we have seen with our eyes, which we have looked upon, and our hands have handled of the word of life.
So read it one more time from the top.
1 John chapter 1 verse 1. That which was from the beginning, which we have heard.
He said that which was from the beginning, which we have heard. Go ahead.
Which we have seen with our eyes.
Which we have seen. Now, no man has seen the Father, but this one was from the beginning as well, just like the Father. So he said that which was from the beginning, which we have seen, which we have heard, we seen with our own eyes. Go ahead.
And our hands have handled.
And our hands have also touched him. Go ahead.
Of the word of life.
Of the word of life. Instead of calling him the word. Right in your face. Right in the Bible. Okay, go ahead.
For the life was manifested, and we have seen it, and bear witness.
Manifested, and we saw it and bear witness. Give me Matthew chapter 13, verse 34.
The book of Matthew chapter 13 verse 34. All these things spake Christ unto the multitude in parables, and without a parable spake he not unto them, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken by the prophet, saying, I will open my mouth in parables.
He said, I will open my mouth in parables. Go ahead.
I will utter things which have been kept secret from the foundation of the world.
From the foundation of the world. So let's see what that's talking about. Get Psalm 78 verse 2. Stay with you real quick. We'll hit that one more time.
Psalms chapter 78 verse 2. I will open my mouth in parable. I will utter dark sayings of old, which we have heard and known, and our fathers have told us.
So he said, I will open my mouth. That's him speaking, saying, I will open my mouth. Now read Matthew 13, 34.
The book of Matthew chapter 13 verse 34. All these things spake Christ unto the multitude in parables, and without a parable spake he not unto them.
Why? Because this is the same person in the Old Testament. He said he was going to speak in parables. What did he do? Spoke in parables. It's not a shocker. It's the same person. Go ahead.
That it might be fulfilled which was spoken by the prophet, saying, I will open my mouth in parables. I will utter things which have been kept secret from the foundation of the world.
So again, it's telling you the same. This is the same person talking the entire time. Okay, give me Revelation 22, verse 13. Hope y'all writing this down because we're going through real fast.